We moved the wedding date from July up to April.
Yeah.
Moved it up because we was trying to do right.
Yeah.
In touching one another.
Exactly.
And praise the Lord. I'm so glad that our pastor was like, move it up. That was God too.
That was God.
That was God all day long. I was thinking about it now. We could have moved it on up even further.
I didn't want a cold wedding. I didn't want it to be cold.
Okay, nothing bad. It wasn't gonna be cold. Anyway, you know what? Welcome to Doing It With the Daniels, the podcast where we help couples navigate life, marriage, and ministry. I'm Charles.
And I'm Tesa. Join us as we share insights, wisdom, and practical advice to strengthen your marriage, empower your life, and enrich your ministry.
Let's dive in together and discover the joys of doing life with the Daniels. Hey, welcome to Doing It With the Daniels, where we help couples get it on in life, marriage, and ministry.
I am Tesa.
And I am Charles. And we want to jump back in, talk to you guys. We just kind of hit it off in our last episode talking about dating. And when I asked her to be my girlfriend, but she was like, no. Can you believe that? She told me no because she said I wasn't ready. But I think that's a good place for us to jump in. And I mean, I think you were right in saying I wasn't ready.
Right.
Looking back, I realized, that I was not ready and it was not the right time and I needed to make some adjustments. But that was kind of the mark point. That was kind of the mark for us, or the place where I started to turn the corner and I started getting serious about our relationship. And I think that's key for every man. At some point, man, you got to start getting serious about the relationship. If you trying to be player, you trying to be the man, you trying to have all these different women, let me tell you, that is not the way to go. That's not even a sustainable life if you want a family and a future. I didn't say if you just want a bunch of kids out here in the world. If you want a family and you want to establish a legacy and a future, it's important that you get serious about being with the one that you're with. I think it's important for every man to take this approach that you get. God created, I believe, one woman.
Yes.
For one man.
Exactly.
For one lifetime. Can you commit to the same person for the remainder of your life? Not can you bounce around to all these different people, because people change, people grow, and it takes a lot of growing maturity and adjustments in order to maintain a positive and quality relationship as you grow together and experience the changes of life together. All right.
So how did you do it?
How did I do it? Well,
you said you had to make some adjustments and you made some adjustments, but there was one.
It started with me making up my mind. I mean, I made up my mind that I wanted to be with you and I was going to cut off the dead weight that was around me that was keeping you from being convinced that I really wanted to be with you and I was really serious about it. And so I think after kind of trimming it down to that one, as we talked about before, after trimming it down to that one, I think we ran into a problem where I wasn't really ready to let go of that one. And I was like, I think we ended up having a conversation about how that's my friend. And that's where we got to like, no, that's my friend. That's my genuine, just real friend. But we had been in a previous relationship. And so it was like, you was kind of like, well, how is it going to be your friend and y'all in a relationship that you weren't comfortable with?
I wasn't comfortable with that. I said, how can you be friends with somebody that you were in a relationship with previously? So I didn't feel comfortable moving forward with you. And I told you that I didn't agree with that.
That's true.
But I did not hound you about that. And I just went to God and I just prayed about it. And I just told God how I felt, what I thought about it. And I just left it alone. And so, ladies, sometimes you don't have to nag. You don't have to beat it over the head. Sometimes you just take things to God. And I just look back, it's so crazy that I realized how God was in a lot of this stuff that we were doing, because I'm like, it had to be Holy Spirit to give me the capacity to even go there and do that. I just expressed it to you how I felt. And I just like, okay, God, if this is the person that you got for me, then you're going to have to deal with this situation. Yeah,
you didn't nag me. We didn't have a big blow up about it. I think we had a conversation about it, and you expressed your displeasure in the idea of me having this female friend, but yet talking about I want to be with you. And after I was like, that's my friend. That's going to always be my friend. And you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
That was kind of the way it went.
Yeah. And I just left it alone. I was like, after I went to the Father, I was like, oh, okay, then I'm done.
And not shortly after that, me and that person had a little blow up, and it was kind of like one of them forget you, like You go do you, I'm doing me. And it was done.
It was done.
It kind of came to an end
Right.
out of that, which looking back, I realized it needed to end. It could have ended better.
Yeah.
Had I had the wisdom to know you this can't be your friend.
Right.
Going into what you're trying to go into, you gotta let this go. But thinking, no, it's no big deal. It'll be cool. But didn't realize the danger.
That other side.
Yeah. It was keeping something available.
Open. Yeah. Keeping the door open.
Yeah. And that's another thing. You got to close the doors. When you start getting serious, you start closing doors to your past and to other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so that since I did not close that door, I feel like from you praying, God intervened and created a condition where that door had to be closed.
Closed and padlocked.
Yeah, it was closed, padlocked, key thrown in the river somewhere. That's a done deal.
Yeah.
Right? But after that, that's when I think you and I really got serious about us.
I think that's when we went to God and we was like, okay, God, now what is this? What are we supposed to be doing? You know, what is the next step for us?
Yeah, we didn't just jump into marriage.
No.
We asked God, is this the person that you have for me? Is this the person you want me to marry? And I think it's vital for all couples to take that step. Like before you jump in and just, I like you, I love you, you're so amazing, I can see you as my wife, my husband, father of my children. Let's pray about it. Let's ask God, God, is this what you desire? Because God knows who you are and God knows who that person is today. He also knows who you're going to be 20 years from now and who that person is going to be, because we're not the same people.
No, we're not.
19 years later that we were
back in 2005.
We're very different.
Very different.
We think very different. We value things very different. But all of that has been the progress of our relationship.
Yeah.
But we did pray about it. And one of the things we said to one another, we had a conversation. We both mutually agreed. We're going to pray. We're going to ask God if this is of him, if this is what he wants for us both.
Yeah. And one thing I told God, I was like, okay, if you say no, it's going to break my heart, but I'd rather go with what you have for me than to just say, yes, I'm going to do this anyway. And I knew that if he said no, I told God, I know you will heal my heart because I've opened it up to this person. But if he's not the one, I'm okay. I'll be okay eventually. It's going to be a process, and I know he was going to walk me through that process. But I was okay with hearing no. And I think sometimes when people go to God, they want to hear yes. Sometimes that they feel like they're hearing yes from God, but it's really not a yes from God. It's their own internal yes. And so I was okay with hearing no because I wanted what God had for me more than anything. Yeah.
And we both mutually agreed on that because I think we had talked about this as well, that if God said no, it was over.
It was over
that day.
Yeah.
Like if both of us prayed and God was like, no, this is not it. We were like, okay, there's no reason for us to continue carrying on any further. So once he says no to either one of us, we are done.
Done.
Yeah. And that was the position that we took. And we were both okay with that. Like, because I know for you, because you said it many times, you don't have time to waste and time to play.
No.
I had time to play.
You did. You had time to play. I didn't. And I think we were both at a place where we wanted to please God with our lives, even though you were, teetering with playing a little bit. I think your heart, you wanted to do what's right.
I always wanted to be a husband. I always wanted to be a father. I always wanted to be a family man.
Yeah.
That was one of my dreams. I wanted that. Right. So yes, I did want it, but like I said, I think I had to just put some things in perspective on, okay, you can't be this and that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if you're going to take this step, you got to get serious about it. And so that's when we got serious and we prayed, and God said
yes.
He said yes.
Yes.
I think he told you yes before he told me. It took me a little long. I probably wasn't trying to.
You weren't trying to hear yes.
I was trying to hear yes. I don't know what I was trying to hear.
Like, God, you sure?
But I think you didn't come and tell me, though.
No, I didn't tell you.
You didn't tell me. I think it may have been like 2 weeks after God spoke to you that I came to you and said, okay, God spoke to me and told me, yes, you're my wife.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, he told me the same thing. And you was like, yeah, he told me like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I didn't run and tell you, so I just kept it to myself.
Which I think was wise because it kept your yes from influencing what I heard from God. You see what I'm saying? And it also allowed you to kind of test, okay, this is what I heard, but what did you hear?
Yeah.
Are you hearing the
time.
same thing?
Giving you time to have your own time to figure out what God is saying to you.
So after we prayed, God told us that we went to church. And at that time we were both attending the same church, and the pastor.
We did not tell anybody.
We didn't tell it. No, we
didn't tell
nobody
anybody.
knew.
Nobody knew.
They knew we were dating, I guess, hanging out, liking one another, but nobody knew we were talking about marriage.
Right.
We go to church, and I remember where I was sitting. I was sitting like towards the back of the church, and the pastor at that time, who operates as a prophet, he called us up, and he began to minister to us and pray for us, and he was like, basically confirming that
what God had already said to us.
Yep.
And the church just went, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so
he was like giving a benediction, right?
I think he was giving benediction, and he stopped in the middle
of the benediction.
Yep.
And called us up.
Yep. And then began and confirmed that God had put us together.
Yep.
And will bless our union.
Yep.
And so from there, I think that kind of solidified for both of us, like, okay, this is a God thing, and let's do it. And I think for me, that brought another level of seriousness to what we were doing at that point. And at that point, I was all in, like, yeah, I'm done, no playing. I'm ready to jump into this because I know this is God's will for my life and for us. And to do anything else would be out of His will for us.
Right, exactly.
Doing anything else would be less than God's best for us.
Yeah.
So we decided to jump in, and we still weren't boyfriend girlfriend at that time. We just kind of seriously liking each other.
Yeah.
We had kind of felt love for one another, and we had prayed about where to go from there. And so we kind of jumped from
friends to hanging out to
fiance.
Yeah. Being engaged. Yeah.
So it happened. So like I asked you to marry me in August. I remember the month.
Yeah.
It was because I think I went to California in July of 2004. Came back. I decided August 1st. That's when I asked you to be my girlfriend because I wanted to mark the date that when you said yes, but you actually said no. August 1st, I asked you to be my girlfriend. During that time period, we made some adjustments. We prayed. God spoke to us. He confirmed it. November 2004, I asked you to be my wife.
Right.
And you said
yes.
Woo!
So crazy.
I was like,
but look, this is so crazy because he asked me without a ring, ladies. No ring.
You just have to throw that in there. No, I did not have a ring because I could not afford a ring.
That's how you know it's God thing. No ring. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I was like, the ring is coming.
But I didn't, it just really wasn't a big deal to me back then. Yeah. I mean, I probably still do the same thing.
I mean, we knew God was in it. And so some of that stuff just didn't matter. I mean, you knew where I worked. Yeah. You knew about how much money I made.
No.
You knew that it was like, yeah, we starting life and you can get a Cracker Jack box for you. But because I want you to have that, I went and made some moves. Yeah. And I was able to get you a ring. Right. And provide that to you. And is that the same ring you still have?
Same ring.
That's the same ring you still have today?
Same ring, yep.
Yeah, ooh, that ring stretched me. Ring. Jesus.
He eventually got it. And it was so crazy because I was telling people, I'm getting married. And they were like, oh, let me see your ring. Oh, it's on the way.
That's game right
there. But I wasn't embarrassed about it or anything. Yeah. I didn't feel any kind of way about it. It was just like, I know I'll get one eventually, and it is what it is.
Well, we didn't make it about that. We didn't make it about the ring. It was really about us. We knew what we were going to do. Yeah. And we'll get all the stuff that comes along with it when
later,
we get it.
When it comes.
But we weren't going to let that stop us from moving forward with what God is doing.
Something I've just thought about. I never hounded you. When you going to get my ring?
Nope.
When you going to get my ring? I still ain't got a ring yet. I'm telling folks I'm going to be married. I ain't got a ring. When you going to get my ring? I never said anything.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I mean, I figured you knew it was coming.
I did.
And you knew I was serious.
But I know you had no money, too.
Yeah, and I ain't had no money. Yeah. But you got to keep bringing that point up. That was almost 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago at this point. No, I did not have any money. I did not have any money. But thank God for His mercy, His grace, and His favor.
Hey, it's all good.
But we stepped into it, and we started planning a wedding.
Right.
We started planning a wedding with no money.
This is hilarious.
No money. And so.
And we actually was planning for what, June or July? We said we
were
want a
planning for
summer wedding.
July of 2025. No, 2005. July of 2005. We were planning to get married, and we set the date. And I was like, okay, well, we said we would do it I'm from Alabama, so we would do it there at my home church there, and my pastor agreed at that time to allow us to do it because I've been a faithful member growing up there, and he said he would do the wedding and all that. And so we had a date set for July, and we started planning.
Right.
And as we're planning and going along, we're trying to pull money together, and our parents jump in, and they begin to help us pull the wedding plans and all that together. Actually, you know what? I forgot about the announcement when we announced it to our family. We just kind of popped it on our family, and I found out shortly after that my sister was planning to get married.
Yeah.
Or to announce that they were going to get married, but they was like, they'll wait.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to announce it the same time we were announcing. And so we decided to go ahead and move forward with that. But we set everything up, set the date. Parents started helping us, jumping in. They came up with some money to even help us pay for the wedding. I think your dad, my mom. They came through big for us to help us.
But it was crazy because my parents, my side knew you because they were here. But your family, like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
We don't even know this girl.
I think
like,
they only met
you twice, maybe once or twice.
Yeah, something like that.
They may have met me once or twice, and they were kind of like, what y'all doing? Like, I didn't think they thought we were for real, especially when we set the date for July.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you they was thinking like, oh, well, they ain't going to make it to July.
Yeah.
But that was just really, is a really difficult time. I think everything was moving kind of fast.
It was.
But it's like, they don't know me. I don't know them. This is weird, you know.
Yeah, I think my mom was having a challenge with accepting it. I know my little sister was having a challenge with accepting it.
Yeah.
My little brother felt some kind of way about it.
Yeah.
So
everybody was feeling some kind of way because it just happened so fast.
Yeah.
You know, we always say that we feel like God had us on a roller coaster. It was just like a roller coaster ride, that things were just moving, and it was just like, this is crazy. But
so we're planning this wedding. So we get engaged in November. We're planning this wedding. We get to, do you remember what month it was? We got to, and we was like, yeah, we didn't move this up.
I don't remember.
So we were encouraged by our pastor to move the wedding up. Just out the blue. He was like, why y'all waiting so long? Why y'all, if you know this is God's will, this is what God, why y'all waiting? This is probably like January.
Yeah.
He was like, why y'all got it all the way, pushed all the way to like July. And so I was like, you know what? Why do we? Because I'm ready to put my hands on her. I'm ready to touch her, Jesus. And so when he brings that question, that was just the question I needed. Like, okay, well, yeah, why we wait? Why? Well, I got 6 more months.
We were thinking summer wedding, summertime.
Yeah, but we weren't thinking about needs.
No, and then I think finances. You know, we were trying to make sure we had time to get everything we needed.
Yeah, that was a part of it too. But I'm happy.
But our family came in and really helped us out. But we didn't spend a lot of money on a wedding.
No, God, no, we didn't. Not compared to what some people spending, 25, 30. I heard somebody the other day spent $90,000 on a wedding. That's a down payment on a house.
Yeah, we were buying a house. So
we did. So in the middle planning wedding, we bought a home. We bought our first home.
Yes.
We weren't even married yet.
Yeah.
You were living with you had actually moved out of your apartment, moved in with your mother. I was still in my apartment with my roommate.
Yeah.
We bought a house 2 weeks before we got married.
Yep. Because
so anyway, we moved the wedding date from July up to April.
Yeah.
Moved it up because we was trying to do right.
Yeah.
In touching one another.
Exactly.
And praise the Lord. I'm so glad that our pastor was like, move it up. That was God too.
That was God.
That was God all day long. I was thinking about it now. We could have moved it on up even further.
I didn't want a cold wedding. I didn't want it to be cold.
Okay, nothing bad. It wasn't to be cold. Anyway. But thank God we ended up moving it up. We was looking for an apartment.
Yes,
remember we drove around to different apartments, and all the apartments that we thought we wanted to live in, once we actually went into them and looked at them, we was like no, I don't want to live. But our pastor was preaching faith.
Yes.
And he was, I think he just bought a home. Some members had just bought a home.
Buying houses.
And he was like, believe God for a house.
Yeah.
And we left church one day like, why don't we believe God for a house?
Yeah.
We were like, our credit ain't there. See, we being real with y'all. Like, this is the things we enjoy now. It wasn't always this way. Our credit was bad.
We wasn't making a lot of money.
We weren't making much money. We didn't have saving. It was like the beginning of life.
Yeah.
But we stepped out on faith. And this is where you have to learn to trust God, because I'm a firm believer. The Bible says, he that findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. I believe that favor was working on my behalf as a man when I met her and got ready to marry her. So we stepped out on faith and believed for favor to show up. And it did. We ended up finding a home.
Yeah.
We had to scale back a little bit because we wanted what we wanted.
What we thought we wanted.
What we thought we wanted, we couldn't afford. And
but we still we had a nice house. We had a
very nice
home. Very nice house.
Very nice home. And we
for a starter,
we was able to purchase that home because God put it on the heart of our realtor to actually lower her commission so that we could afford to get in the home.
Yeah.
So she took less money so that we could actually purchase the home. That was nobody but God.
Right. A lot of different things, favor, showed up with us buying that house, because we were two young kids, didn't know nothing about buying a house.
Yes.
Doing this on our own in our early 20s. And we're just like, oh my God, this is
We
crazy.
didn't tell anybody. It was just, we were just walking by faith.
Yeah.
And we bought the home we closed on it like at the end of March, March 30th. We weren't getting married until April 16th.
Yep.
So for those 2 weeks, I moved into the home. You stayed with your mom.
Yep.
And then after the wedding, you came into the house.
Yep.
So it was a blessing.
It was a journey.
It was. Now, let's talk about that. So we go through the wedding. We'll have to do a whole nother episode on the wedding.
Yeah, we're going to have to call it just the wedding. The Daniel's wedding.
And what all happened with that?
It was an eventful wedding.
Yes, it was an eventful wedding.
I think the enemy was mad. What you think?
He was very mad.
I think he was big mad.
Because we made it there. And who knows, he probably would have tried to do something to destroy us before getting to that July date.
Yeah.
And that's why God, let that happen, where our pastor was like, move it up.
Move it up.
Consider moving it up. And we did. I'm glad we did. I think it was a blessing to do that. Everything worked out as a blessing.
Yeah, it did.
To do that. But after we got married, we moved into the house. We get in this house. What did we have when we moved into the house?
Nothing.
People had these grand ideas. We bought a house and we moved in. We bought this furniture. We got into the house as first-time home buyers. No down payment. I think the only thing we put up is like our earnest money.
Yeah.
I think we got that back.
Yep.
And because we needed that. But we get into the house and we are in the house with nothing. Like, I think I bought my bedroom.
I bought my
set over. You bought your bedroom set. So we put your bedroom set in our primary bedroom. We put the other one in one of the other bedrooms for Tyler. And
that was it.
We had no kitchen table, no couch,
no refrigerator,
nothing.
No.
And so we was sitting in there. We had TVs that we brought. We would sit on the floor, cuddle up, talking about, baby, I love you. This is the most amazing thing ever. And
we didn't go on a honeymoon.
We did not know. Our home was our honeymoon.
Our home was.
We came home.
We went home. Got married and went home.
Some people get on a jet and go. No,
to the Bahamas and all that stuff.
No, we came home. We came home and we enjoyed our home. But it was a blessing. And I mean, marriage was good. Our marriage was going good. We was happy.
Yeah, we were.
We were happy. It wasn't about the stuff for us.
Exactly.
It was about us being together and the dream and the ideal of growing together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people miss. They feel like we got to have this, we got to have that, we got to have this, we got to have that. And they miss out on the opportunity to enjoy growing.
Yeah, and building together.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men feel like that. Like they got to have this much money. They got to have all this stuff lined up because they're the head of the house, right? But sometimes you just can build together. Grow together.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I think it's an excuse too.
Well, yeah, for some men it is.
For some.
But it's real when you get married somebody, you know, the children can start coming. You want to have some money in the bank, because if you don't, as we experience, it gets
ugly.
Yeah,
you got no money.
You got no money. It's cool at first. We in love, but when the bills start coming, love had to take a back seat. You be like, somebody better come up with some money, and if you're not careful, you start fighting one another.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting for the marriage. And so I think with that and other things is kind of where, for us, life, working, family, bills, things kind of took a turn. It was happy-go-lucky. Oh, then it took a turn. I think we can pick up there next time and talk about how we went from this happy couple in this house with no furniture to you telling me one day I'm leaving.
I ain't say that.
Yes, you did. I know you ain't gonna lie on this podcast. We done. We out of here. We'll catch y'all on the next episode where I'm gonna tell y'all about the time Pastor Tesa was like, I'm gone. Right?
I didn't mean it. I was just going away for a minute. I'll come back.
That ain't what you said. Take care. We'll talk to y'all soon. Hey, thank you for joining us for Doing It with the Daniels. If you want to keep up with everything going on our channel, don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.